All right, and welcome back to Modern Prescription. My name is Dr. Deepak Dugar, facial plastic surgeon.
And I'm Dr. Jeff Toll, concierge internal medicine and COVID hunter.
And COVID hunter, that's right. You've been on the hunt, seriously.
Big on the hunt.
Big on the hunt. Well, today's episode 3, and we're going to be talking about some cool stuff.
This is a good episode, I think.
Yeah, great episode.
We got a big guest, first guest.
Our first big guest. I'm super excited for everyone to meet the man, the myth, the legend.
I think what I like about this episode is we get a little more into what you do, which is plastic surgery, which I think we haven't hit as much the first couple of episodes.
Yeah, and when we're talking about celebrities who are being open about it, we discuss Cardi B, Khalifa, some really great people.
So go ahead, take a listen. We are disappointed that most of you aren't rating us and sharing us as much as you should be because we know you're all listening. So just
I rated us 5 stars, just so you know.
I gave us a 5-star.
All right, great.
We have a lot in common.
And if you're listening right now, you should also give us 5 stars and ask us some questions in the review even. We'll listen to them. We'll answer.
Yeah, we may answer a question.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Well, welcome guys, episode 3.
Enjoy.
All right, and welcome back for episode 3. We're super excited.
This is going to be a great one.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of cool stuff.
So what's going on in the world this week?
Oh man, a lot of stuff. I mean, one thing that is kind of cool is plastic surgery is being talked about really openly this week.
It's been wild. I think I've learned more about plastic surgery this week than really I've ever known other than talking to you.
I know. Yeah, it's cool because a lot of people are being a lot more open about it than ever before. Cardi B has been pretty vocal. I would say she's been vocal for the past year and a half, but especially recently, I think she's just been really responding to a lot of her haters. And it's been awesome because she's being so transparent. Basically what happened is last year, she got liposuction and she admitted it openly, talked about how she got liposuction because she just couldn't lose a few pounds after she had her baby, you know?
Right.
And so she said, you know, F you, it's my body. I want to do what I want, you know, and a lot of people came after her saying she's fake and this and plastic. And, you know, all of everything beside, I love when celebrities are open about their cosmetic procedures because 99% are not. I mean, I have so many celebrity plastic surgeon clients who don't talk about anything. And I respect it. You know, we respect their HIPAA privacy, of course. We don't ever jeopardize that. But when they do talk about it, I love it because they're setting realistic expectations for the youth. Because a lot of kids idolize these celebrities and don't realize it's not real. Like this is attained through financial means.
Right.
And I think a lot of kids look at it like, oh man, I don't look like that. Woe is me, I'm so broke, I'm so fat, I'm so ugly. No, you're not fat and ugly, you're maybe broke. You know, there's ways to achieve this. And not to say that everyone needs plastic surgery, because I'm definitely anti-plastic surgery for a lot of people, but I think that it's great to see that kind of wokeness and that kind of awareness that's being presented.
So is she, I guess she is basically just being open about her history of having it and that she's happy she did it and she's sort of telling people that it's okay to do it. And
yeah, well, I don't think she's saying it's okay. I think she's just being super honest about it. Like she recently posted a photo like showing like really bad swollen feet basically. And she was just saying like, listen, there's side effects of this stuff. Right. Like she was being really open about it, not just promoting it. And she wasn't like pushing her surgeon or anything. You know, no one even knows who her surgeons are. That's the coolest part. But she really was just being open and she was trying to say, listen, there are side effects. Like, look what's happening with my feet. Like, she's getting some sort of lymphedema, it sounds like, post-operatively, which is very common. Right. But she's just, you know, trying to be transparent about it rather than the super pristine image a lot of celebrities have and they tiptoe around it and never admit to it. And then it makes a lot of the younger girls just feel so shitty about themselves because they feel like, man, why don't I look like that?
And then you also had a big, I guess, a client of yours who on her own was really promoting the great job that you did in her case.
Yes.
And she has a whole lot of wild stuff going on.
Yes.
So are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah, sure. Mia has given me full permission to kind of speak about it. So Khalifa is a very, very well-known influencer today. And she has kind of had a second wave of awakening because of Generation Z, like the current 16 to 22-year-olds basically.
Gotcha.
And so
the woke crowd.
Super woke.
Yeah.
I mean, super woke. I mean, they are cancel culture. I mean, they're the ones who cancel everyone.
Right.
And so they basically don't put up with anyone's crap. They love Black Lives Matter, which they should. They love gay and lesbian rights, which they should, trans rights, and they're super against slut shaming. And that's basically what happened with Mia Khalifa. She was super slut shamed for a significant amount of time, past 10 years of her life, basically. And a lot of people don't really know the backstory. Basically, Mia Khalifa is most famous for her short stint in adult films.
Right.
And
it was only a few months, right?
Yeah, just a couple of months. She filmed some films that sound, again, this is all just from online, what everyone knows about her. And here's the sad part. She kind of got bullied and intimidated into it. No one really realizes that. And through that process, the film she made, she only got paid $12,000. That's it.
That doesn't sound like a lot because a lot of people have watched it.
A lot of people have watched. She was the #1 searched adult film star for a decade. I mean, it's insane. And to the point where she was the face of the entire campaign for this company, Pornhub.
So my understanding of what's going on now is she is essentially trying to take her power back by saying that these companies have taken advantage of her. They're using her content.
Yes.
She hasn't been properly paid, nor can she get them to stop using it.
100% correct.
And so you're saying the kids are backing her up, right?
Yes.
She's getting signatures and...
Yeah, so the way it happened, so she had a second wave of kind of fame through TikTok. TikTok became her second, so she joined TikTok and she really just embraced it and it went nuts. Like she has like 8-9 million followers on TikTok. All her videos go viral on there. And so the Gen Z crowd, which is obviously the TikTok crowd, they just supported her and they created a new hashtag just this week called Justice for Mia. It went nuts. Like over 1 million people are looking at this hashtag. They created a change.org petition basically to allow Mia to get a chance to have her fair day in court against these, conglomerate companies who own these pornography brands. And so she is not able to do that as a single, entrepreneurial woman who doesn't have, the financial means to battle these multi-billion-dollar corporations. So they basically are trying to petition her to just get a fair chance, let her have her day in court.
So this is a huge week for her. So she's getting her rights back. She's getting a beautiful nose from you.
Yes. Yeah. That's the other cool part. So we did her rhinoplasty about a week ago, and it's really cool because she also was decided, listen, I do not want to set unrealistic expectations for these kids who follow me, especially this Gen Z crowd, 16 to 22, very impressionable. Right. And she wanted to be open about it and honest about it. And it's been one of her deepest insecurities for a long time. And she just decided to share her entire process, which I thought was amazing.
That's beautiful to see someone use their trauma and use these experiences to help so many other people who are going through the same thing. That's
totally.
great.
Yeah, putting a pain to your purpose is the way I kind of look at it. And I think it's so awesome that she's doing that because she could easily have just clammed up and fell prey to depression, alcohol, drugs. She lives a sober lifestyle. She works out like a fiend. She's a food enthusiast and she's just a happy energy ball of person. And she's lovely and I'm a huge fan and she's an inspiration. Yeah, so I'm really a big fan of her. But, the other thing it goes into is other beauty brands and topics because one other thing in the cancel culture right now, which I've noticed, is skin lightening companies. So we should talk a little bit about that.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that they... those skin companies are basically taking off the market all these products that are for lightening the skin.
Exactly. There's a huge brand in India called Fair and Lovely that's huge. It's like a multi-billion-dollar corporation that owns it. And one of their top selling products is called Fair and Lovely, which is exactly what it sounds like.
To become fair
and lovely. Yeah. And so they have basically realized is that in India, for example, there's 300 years of institutionalized color racism is what they call it, colorism.
Right.
And it's because the British imperial rule over India made everyone feel like lighter skin is superior because white people ruled India.
Maybe I made this up, but I also thought it was that the more wealthy, the less time out in the sun working. And so you're a little lighter naturally.
That's a European thought. So that's totally correct. That's totally correct. Versus today, it's kind of flipped. Now you want to spend time.
I'm a big tanner.
Do you?
Well, I do. I enjoy the sunlight, the vitamin D a little bit, but I think I also, in vanity's sake, I think I look a little better tan.
See, that's a great question. So
it has nothing to do with the color. I just think I look better tan.
Right.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. But isn't that cool? And weird because one way we're saying, hey, ban color racism products such as Fair and Lovely or skin lightening things that L'Oreal and all these companies sell. But at the same time, it's okay to want to be darker if you want to be. So it's like,
that's what I don't understand about all the canceling is sometimes they cancel arbitrary things because they want people to have control of their own bodies and have their own rights. So why can't someone decide they want to be lighter if I can decide I want to be
darker,
more tan?
Yeah, that's true. Do you tan? Do you actually use outdoor natural, or do you go to like tanning beds? Okay, so you're not a tanning bed guy.
I'm definitely not a tanning bed guy.
I could see you in a Speedo.
I'll put on like low
Jeff with the Speedo with the little glasses
SPF.
on.
No tanning. Maybe a Speedo, but no tanning bed.
Weekend plans.
Yeah. It is July 4th.
Yeah. Yeah, and then another thing that was a big cancel thing that happened is Johnson & Johnson recently just settled a huge lawsuit, $2.1 billion for their baby powder talcum lawsuit.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah.
I wish I had used talc because that was a 2 point. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I think this happens all the time. Things get by the FDA.
Yep.
With the companies that have huge lobbying power. And sometimes it's as simple as we don't know. And this is what I tell people all the time. Just because something's well marketed or expensive or is available as a product does not mean there's not going to be some bad long-term effect.
Right.
And so a lot of people didn't realize talc was going to cause cancer and pleural fibrosis and all the stuff that it causes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's just one example.
Right. And so now basically the question is it safe to use talcum powder or not? And, our modern prescription, what would you say?
My understanding is a big no on that one.
Yeah.
I don't know all the research, but my understanding is it can cause cancer and some other things. So I would avoid.
I agree. And, Chanel, Revlon, L'Oreal, all have basically banned quietly. They're not talking about it, but they've banned and removed all their talc products in the U.S. Because of the cancer lawsuits that was just settled. Yeah. So yeah, it makes sense. But it's interesting. There's this whole wave, I think, of much more natural beauty that's kind of coming in. I think the color racism is a huge proponent right now that we're seeing, and then celebrities being more open about what they're having done. I think it's just leading to a much more natural landscape where we're understanding a little bit more, seeing through the matrix. Because 30, 40 years ago, you saw someone like Hugh Hefner's girls running around. There's people who thought that was natural. They didn't realize those are all breast implants. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't as open.
Yeah, I mean, what's confusing now is all the filters on all the Instagram.
Totally.
All that stuff.
Yeah. People come to my office and they literally show me their Instagram photos that are filtered and ask me, how do I look like this? And it's such a weird thing to explain to them. Is that possible?
That's kind of an interesting thought.
It's not possible at all.
You can't do that?
No.
You can't paint the filter on them?
Yeah, and just have naturally twinkle stars on your face.
You can't do the stars?
You can't do the stars. Everyone wants to twinkle stars. It's just not possible. But one thing, speaking of filters, so the other thing that's kind of cool is there's been this huge discussion right now. Everyone's working from home, right?
Yep.
Everyone's on their computers all day.
Yep.
And there's this question of blue light from the computers, and do the blue light filter glasses work?
I think that's a fake news.
Fake news?
So I think the problem is actually the reading focus, like your eyes are focusing. So it's you're making your eyes work all day more so than the color of the light.
Yeah.
I also have not that much of a scientific basis for that, but that's my understanding take on it.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. I mean, I think that basically what they said in the study that they did was that there wasn't a huge impact from the blue light filter from the glasses compared to regular glasses in terms of decreasing the strain. And so I think it's exactly what you said. It's mechanical. I mean, the eye has muscles attached to it. People don't realize behind your eye, there's lots of little muscles, and there's about 6 or 7, and they're literally small pulley system that allow your eyes to rotate in all the different directions. And those muscles, just like your biceps, if you're overstraining them, get sore, and they have a strain to them, which can cause pain.
Right.
And so I think, like you said, the biggest thing is if you're working on a computer is to take a break, give yourself, there's a 20-20-20 rule that a lot of the eye doctors use, which is every 20 minutes, take a break for 20 seconds and look at something 20 feet away. And that's the 20-20-20 rule that eye doctors say. That. Yeah. I mean, me and you don't sit on computers that long, but
I do. We internists write a lot of notes.
Do you still use computer or iPads? What do you normally do?
Oh yeah, computer.
Computer, okay.
Oh yeah.
And do you do them in between patients, or do you do it at the end of the day?
So I'm big again on the patient doctor relationship.
Yeah.
So I never type during a consult.
Oh, you're such a gem.
I write on paper.
There's not many like you, Dr. Toll.
I write on paper little reminder notes.
Yeah.
And then in between patients or at the end of the day, I'll do all the documenting.
That's funny. I can actually attest to that because when I saw you as a patient, you did not have a computer in the room.
No, I don't like them. I've thought about having a scribe, but I think that ruins the privacy. So I've thought about other ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think I take these little notes, and then I think the other thing is for the internist, I'm supposed to be sort of keeping track of everything for all the specialists too. So I want to write a pretty thorough, it's not just a note for myself for medical legal.
Right.
It's really like, first of all, keeping track of everything that's going on. And then when I send referrals out, you know, one of the weird things about medicine is we don't all share medical records. So if a new doctor's seeing someone, they don't have access to all the scans and all of this and that. So I try to comprehensively sort of summarize what's going on for that person let's say they have 10 years of all these abdominal surgeries and this, and they have Crohn's. And if they get a new gastroenterologist, it's impossible for that person to figure out what happened unless I sort of distill down the high points and get that in there now.
And that's a great point. Why don't we have a centralized medical record system yet? Do you think it's just because of the financial system that controls everything?
Yeah, so it's about the data. So if you have a medical record, even if you take away the patient identifiers, if you can just have the name, phone number, email, and know what medications are on, that's like gold for pharmaceutical companies, advertisers.
Ad companies, yeah.
Yeah, and so, and other doctors. So a lot of doctors are scared of other doctors. It creates friction for people to leave their doctor. Some people are not satisfied with their doctor, but they've been going there for 10 years and like, well, they have all my records, and they know my history. Because if you leave, especially, and I run into this, you know, in the last few years of my practice, especially people who are becoming older, having more medical problems, they need a little closer eye. Maybe their doctor's retiring, perhaps, or getting older, not quite available as often. Then when that person comes to me, when I call that office to get records, they're illegible handwritten notes that are useless. I have no idea what was on there. So
that's a good point. So if, let's say someone's listening right now and they are thinking about switching their internal medicine doctor, or a long-term doctor, even if it's their pulmonologist, whoever, what do they do? What do they ask for?
It's really hard. I'll try to get records from everyone I can and try to pull out what's salvageable from there. One of the things I use a cloud-based medical record system where all my patients, if they want to sign up for the portal, have access to all their imaging notes.
Wow.
So if they're traveling, if they're in New York on vacation and something happens, they literally can go on their iPhone, pull out PDF reports of all their stuff and show the doctors in front of them.
That's great.
So that's what we do. Part of it is keeping track for them. But it's hard when you're at these, it's a scavenger hunt. I'm calling Cedars for some records, UCLA. I have one of my staff members' main jobs is like to get records, send records, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's part of the process. So back to the computers, you do sit on them a long time.
So the moral of the story is I do sometimes find that I'm on a computer a lot.
Yeah, good. Well, blue lights, filters, I think our modern prescription is not to buy them because they're wildly successful right now on Amazon and CVS.
They're selling fake news.
Yeah, it's selling
Spend your money on masks right now.
Yeah.
COVID's back.
Yeah, let's talk about COVID. So if you're spending your money on masks, and tell us about COVID. What's the update?
So we're in a really bad situation here. So
same news. It's getting worse.
The case number is the highest it's been since the beginning when like New York was overwhelmed.
Man, so sad.
It's a little bit not true in the sense that our testing capacity has gone up massively. So, and if you look at the hospitalizations, I looked on our census today at Cedars. I think we only have like 65 or 70 COVID patients right now in the entire hospital at Cedars.
Is that high or low?
We were up well above 100 at one point.
Okay, wow.
So we're below that, even though each day in LA it's been a new record high each day.
Yeah. Is the record high of cases or hospitalizations?
Cases.
Okay.
And so there's two reasons. One is we're testing more. It used to be we were only testing someone sick enough to go to the hospital, and now We're testing pretty much everyone who wants
yeah,
to test.
Yeah. And is testing good? Do you think that people should get tested?
Yeah, because the reason we're testing is to reduce the spread. And so the only way to slow this thing down is someone finds out they have it, they tell everyone they've been in contact with, they get tested and stop seeing other people in the meantime, supposedly.
Right.
And that's how you slow it down.
Right.
But I'm really worried, I think it's less deadly than we originally thought, but it's still very dangerous for the elderly or at-risk population.
Right.
And so it's just, we're worried right now. And
what are your parents doing right now?
Yeah. So, it's funny. They had a trip planned to New Zealand.
Wow.
Which is now one of the countries with 0 cases.
Right. And they don't want us.
But they're not allowed in.
They don't want Americans.
No, they don't want Americans. So I have people asking me, it's scary to think about going on a plane for me.
Should we travel? Yeah.
Because of the recycled air on a plane, and they have you like sardines. It violates every social distancing rule known to man.
Well, United and American Airlines both basically said that they are no longer going to be doing the middle seat thing, and planes are back to normal, full capacity.
It's weird to me what the government, they're so terrible at dealing with this, but what they've decided is okay and not okay. And what's contributing to this and what's not contributing to this. I think it was a perfect storm. The everything coming back was sort of a perfect storm. And I think part of it was people were so tired of being indoors for 3 months that once they let everyone out, instead of slowly going out, they were at restaurants and at parties, house parties, especially the young people.
Gen Z.
The Gen Zers. TikTok, a crowd of people TikToking together.
Which we'll find out that it still exists anyways, because India's already banned TikTok.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, India banned it because TikTok's basically Chinese malware on your phone is what they realized.
It's a Trojan horse to get your data.
Yeah. And it's been proven now. It's actually been proven they're collecting all the data on your phones.
Interesting. I'm so glad I've never downloaded TikTok.
Smart. Don't ever download it. It's actually addicting.
What I was going to say about COVID, anyway, so it's just a combination. It's people going to house parties more often than they were. I think the elderly are staying indoors though, so that's why we're seeing less hospitalizations.
Great.
And then the one thing that I think people are a little nervous and tiptoe around talking about are the impact of the protests.
Yeah,
because I think
great question.
Most doctors want social progress. We want, we know that Black Lives Matter. We want. Yeah. We
always have, always will.
We want people to have rights. We want LGBT rights. But we have to be honest to say that 10,000 people packed into streets is increasing the coronavirus. You can't really deny that. Those can both be true.
Yeah, they can both be true. It doesn't have to be, we're in such a left versus right culture. Yeah. And I think we were so torn, and it's like, you can have both. You can care about Black lives and care about COVID.
Yeah.
And I think we forget that.
Right. So it's tough because, beautiful things are happening in the country, hopefully, actually permanently.
Yes. Institutionally, yes.
So far, there's been small changes, but hopefully, and maybe after the election, bigger changes to come.
Yeah, much bigger.
But right now, we have to deal with the result of it, which is the cases are rising.
So your quick modern prescription, do you recommend people be out in the streets protesting right now?
If you're, again, I think it's the same thing I said last week, for those of you who didn't listen last week, that if you're young and healthy, when I say healthy, I mean not obese, don't have other medical problems, not a smoker, like truly, if you're healthy, you're a workout kind of healthy guy or gal, you personally will probably be okay if you get it. But if you're around family members, parents, grandparents, if you work around elder people, you have to think about your decisions are affecting everyone. Right. So if you live alone and you're young and you don't have a roommate, and it's like the butterfly effect is like you're 21, you get sick, you give it to your 19-year-old roommate who goes back from college and sees grandma, and then you may not even know, and they may not even know you were the original source. Totally. So that's why we need to keep the case numbers down.
Butterfly effect, great movie, Ashton Kutcher. Did you see that?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's
movie.
really good. You
I
should
do
watch
like
it.
Ashton Kutcher.
Yeah, I do too. He's a great guy. He's very progressive, which I love.
Yeah.
So great advice. And then
Big
what would be your
investor
great investor, super smart guy. And then what would be your modern prescription for should we travel? Should you get on a plane?
I don't know. I think it's scary. I think if people.
Warren Buffett says no.
Yeah.
He told everyone not to invest in any airlines.
I agree. I mean, if you can afford, business class will help somewhat protect you. Flying privately obviously would protect you.
Must be nice.
Most people can't do that unless you're part of that talc lawsuit.
I cannot. The talc lawsuit. Those women.
So if you're not in the talc lawsuit and you don't own Mia's videos, so you can't fly private.
Right.
I would probably honestly not fly for a while.
Yeah. I'm with you.
And America has some very underrated places that people never think about going to. Mm-hmm.
Driving wise.
Yeah,
no matter where you live in this country, it's a beautiful place.
It's a beautiful country.
Yeah, it really is. You're totally right. We're so blessed.
Especially when you get away from the people. It's a beautiful country.
Well, the people, so that's a great question. So this is another question to ask is what is causing the virus? Is it people spreading the virus or is the virus omnipresent? Because there's this whole push now, we'll get into in a few minutes, about sterilization. Right. Sterilizing planes, sterilizing factories with these big giant UV lights.
Suite?
My surgical center, we sterilize our surgical center with UV lights. But the question is, are people propagating the disease? Is it a live thing that lives in people? Or is it actually allowed to live on dormant surfaces? I know that we've shown that it lives on dormant surfaces.
So if a corona falls in the forest?
Exactly. Finish that quote. That's a great one.
so it's mostly spread by people.
Yeah, so I think so too.
This is a weird thing to think about, but the way that a virus evolutionarily gets to be a successful virus and thus pass on to more people is it creates symptoms. The symptoms of a virus are actually its mechanism to spread and make copies of itself. So if you think about it, the more it can make you sneeze, the more it can make you cough, the more it gets thrown out into the air to spread to the next person. So the perfect virus, per se, causes a lot of symptoms, but is actually less deadly. Then it's also less likely to spread. So corona has this perfect storm of you get symptoms of coughing, sneezing, but you actually, a lot of people feel well enough to be on a plane or
and you're just propagating it.
Yeah,
we're basically doing Corona's good work.
We're going on cruises.
We are the
not wearing masks.
Mission workers for Corona.
We're going to the president's rallies with no mask on.
Right.
On July 4th.
Right. This past weekend, people did a lot this past weekend. And well, that's back to the sterilization thing, because these UV lights are now being used. Robotic sterilization is the new trend.
Yep.
So Amazon has shown in their huge factory warehouses how they're using robotic UV lights. We actually just in our surgery center the other day had a germ falcon. They're this company that basically makes UV sterilization that's been FDA approved that actually kills coronavirus, HIV, kills basically any bacteria virus in the air.
Wow.
And it's this huge UV light that you kind of pan around and move, and whatever surface it interacts with, and it has to be in a direct line of sight. It can't bend corners. It kills anything in that thing. And so we, use it in our surgery centers, and planes are using it. Germ Falcon's very famous for being used on airplanes. But the question is it necessary or not? We're doing it now. I don't know if it's necessary though. And until we find out more, we're going to continue to use it probably.
Yeah. I mean, you probably don't want to, but you could probably do an experiment where you swab I think like a scientist. So you could probably swab, the floors and the walls and the whatever, and run it on a PCR before and after sterilization and see if you go from positive to negative.
Right. But beyond that, the point is, even if it's negative or if it's positive, does that transmit coronavirus?
Because are they dead particles?
Exactly. Because sometimes you can have live particles that'll come up positive in PCR, but it's not going to have any harm if you were to ingest it.
So I don't recommend doing this because it's dangerous, but
you could lick it.
Theoretically, they could do, well, no. You could try to grow the virus in a culture.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah, and see if it propagates.
And see if it grows.
Yeah. Because if it grows, then
if it grows,
potentials.
Yeah, because so for everyone to understand, the way the PCR swab works is it's looking for short chains in the genetic code, the RNA of the virus, and then it sort of makes a million copies of it. And if it makes enough copies, test looks positive. If it doesn't, looks negative. But it doesn't tell you whether those copies are live or not. It just finds the RNA.
Yes.
But if the virus, you put it into a culture and the culture grows, that's alive.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, so great point, great questions. You know, the real question about COVID, I guess, to summarize is don't get on a plane right now.
I would say no planes. I would say
Just try not to protest if you don't have to.
The numbers are crazy spiked. So I sort of agree that they need to sort of shut a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
When they reopen, this is, you know, what's sad is the reopening coincided with the protests and coincided with,
right.
I think they stayed, the mistakes we made were we stayed closed for way too long. So there was 2 months there where the cases were flat. We weren't getting it to zero, but they weren't going down anymore. So there was no advantage to staying closed that long.
Right.
So as soon as we get back to, I mean, the whole point of closing is to not overwhelm the hospital. And so right now, at least in Los Angeles, the hospitals are not overwhelmed.
Right.
So
and
we want to keep it that way.
Yes.
And the hospitalizations are a lagging indicator. So about 2 weeks after the infection rate goes up, that's when you'll see people in the hospital. And the reason being, you have to get exposed to the virus, then you have to get sort of sick, and then you have to get sicker. And by the time you get to the hospital, it's usually about, 10 days or 14 days after you got sneezed on.
Right.
To the point you get to the hospital. But I'm seeing my testing positivity go up. Next week, starting on Monday, I'm actually going to be opening our Monday through Friday drive-through across the street from Cedar Sinai.
Wow, amazing.
So we'll be able to test much more high capacity, I think.
And this is not from LA County. This is
it's going to be a private drive-through.
Beautiful.
We're able to get the results in 48 hours.
Beautiful.
The problem with the public drive-through, it's a good idea, but the problem is if you can't get your results in 7 days, it doesn't change anything because the person's either already better or already in the hospital or already spreading it around by the
within
time
7
they know.
days. Yes.
So what we're trying to accomplish is you take your test in my drive-through or house call, you be a good person and you stay quarantined for 2 days and then we'll know.
Yep.
And then
you can be a good person for 2 days.
2 days.
Yeah, it's reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah.
They can, put on their blue light blocking glasses for 2 days.
That do nothing.
Watch a little something.
Yeah. Watch some good content.
Let's go back and start on episode 1. This is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Listen to all of our stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Well, good. I think we want to bring in this is our first time we're doing this. We're going to have our first big guest, and we cannot wait. So we're going to bring you in to meet the one and only, the famous, the multi-entrepreneurial.
D. Murthy's coming on the episode today.
D. Murthy.
So we finally have our first guest, it looks like.
I know. I'm super excited. This is a big one.
Is this a big guest? I guess
it's
this is a big guest.
Huge guest.
It's a big guest because, there's a formula that has worked for group chat, which is 2 Indian and a white person.
That is very true.
Quota is now fulfilled.
Yes. So we know that as a dynamic has been successful.
Does that make me the drama right now?
Yes, you're the drama.
That makes sense. So today on the pod, we have D. Murthy. Those of you who listen to his show, Group Chat, already know him as the person who makes comments without any factual basis. But for the rest of you guys out there who haven't been listening to his show, D is a multi-entrepreneur, owns multiple businesses, clothing companies, and currently goes by the moniker The Mask King as the #1 mask seller on Amazon, actually.
Thank you very much.
Wow. That's amazing.
Also, cleaning your hands.
Well, Clean Monster.
Clean Monster.
The soon-to-be #1 hand sanitizer on Amazon.
Nice.
How does it feel being the person probably partially responsible for keeping coronavirus rates down out there in the country?
I mean, people like me need to be really awarded like Medal of Honor, Medal of Freedom. Give me one of those. What do they give Nelson Mandela?
Yeah.
One of those awards. That's the type of level of protection I'm offering humanity.
I think this president doesn't reward mask wearing, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe some sort of award in Switzerland. Where do they give the Nobel Prize? Where's that? Oslo.
Nobel Peace Prize. That's amazing. I think it's valid.
So, for me, like as someone that is relatively healthy, I rarely go to the doctor. I've seen you once, maybe.
Is he your doctor?
Oh yeah, but I'm allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say
yeah,
that.
Oh yeah, if you
yeah.
say it, I can confirm that.
Yes.
That's the case.
Have you checked me out medically before?
Well, he can't
Yes.
say it until
Yeah.
you say it.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Check me out. Yeah. I don't know all these HIPAA rules.
Apparently, yes.
But during the pandemic, on your last episode, you were talking about how all these like skin issues people are having because of
Yeah.
stress or mass. And then I've had a skin issue on my neck for the last 3 months. And I don't know if I thought it was a sunburn. And then my wife was like, it's alcohol and stress. And I was like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Can we cut to the shirtless picture?
And then you guys were talking about stress. And then obviously I drink. So that,
Are we going to examine you live on the pod right now?
well, let me ask you, my skin issue more than likely is coming from that.
Probably. I would say very
So
high
I would have to
likely.
look at it, but there are definitely skin issues that at least are exacerbated by stress. So a common one that we see is psoriasis, where people may have psoriasis on and off, but through a stressful period or when they're not sleeping as well, something they may notice that their psoriasis is breaking out more. The back of the neck, especially in someone who is the founder of a run club, may actually be, would have to look at it, but just hearing that story sounds like it could be fungal, maybe from the sweating.
Disgusting.
So
Fungal?
yeah, well, listen, man, you're sweating. So there's fungus what's weird to think about, we never think about this. There's both bacteria and fungus literally on every surface of every inch of everything. So if you take a Q-tip and you swab someone's skin and put it into a culture dish, you'll grow Staph aureus, strep, all the bacteria you can think of. And there's fungus everywhere too. And if you have little micro breaks in the skin on the back of the neck, you're sweating, you're running, you can get something like tinea. You get a little fungal rash. And if it gets more irritated the more time, especially if you're running multiple days a week, that may be what it is. So you could try, I haven't looked at it yet, but you could try, assuming that that's what's going on, you could try a topical like clotrimazole, something just to kill the topical fungus. You probably don't need a oral pill for that.
Whatever it's called. Where do I get that?
Just over the counter, 1% you could try first.
Okay.
Over the counter. It's like what's in an athlete's foot medicine.
Okay.
Well, the
got
good
it.
thing is if it works, D's going to sell it on Amazon.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to create my own.
Part of the
Fungal monster.
well, part of the run club. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
because I'm running like an insane amount right now because I'm doing a half marathon on Saturday. So like every Friday or Saturday, I run for 2 hours. I run 45 minutes, 3-4 days a week.
Wow.
I'm a walking fungi.
Let me ask you a question. When you run, are you wearing like a necklace, a metal necklace or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm wearing a gold necklace.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Indian, bro.
micro brain.
So you're
Indians all got the gold necklace.
so my foot. So to complete the diagnosis, when you're running, your necklace is probably swinging back and forth. It's probably either you're making micro abrasions that the fungus is getting into with the sweat. So you're basically feeding either bacteria or fungi to grow there. It could be a combination of the two of them actually. Or you have a very mild allergy to the metal. And when you are actually running and rubbing more, it's causing a little bit worse of a reaction. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that was great. Great diagnosis.
That is very
Great
impressive.
diagnosis.
You're not as dumb as I thought you were.
Thank you.
We actually have MDs.
I mean, like USC, everyone's just paying for people to get there. You just never know these days. What about drinking?
Yeah. Drinking makes a big difference.
So
You know
7
what?
days a
Definitely.
week, no good?
No good. No good. And for multiple reasons. I mean, what it does to your body, the toxins, your liver, even a low dose on a regular basis, that repeated trauma to your liver makes a huge difference long term. People think 1 or 2 drinks a day is not a big deal. It does make a difference.
I'm a 1 or 2 drink guy.
A day?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
For like weeks on end?
Well, I mix in smoking weed twice a week.
Okay, good. So you're being very, very good about mixing it.
So this is an interesting one. So there's this famous study where in France, where they actually drink a lot, but mostly wine, there's a much lower incidence of heart disease, despite the fact that there are a lot of smokers.
Specifically red wine, though, not tequila, not 1942.
I'm a 42 Casamigos wine drinker.
We haven't done the Casamigos studies yet.
What do they say?
Probably not as good for you. No, but the antioxidants in red wine are supposedly the most healthy. So most cardiologists will tell you if you're going to be drinking daily, red wine is a much better option than tequila. That was where I was going with that.
Yeah.
That's rough. I don't enjoy wine.
Yeah,
I really enjoy tequila.
I think the study showed 1 glass.
Yeah,
I think if you did more than 1 or 2 glasses, then it actually was no
Diminishing
longer positive.
They call it a J-shaped curve. So meaning,
that has nothing to do with your religion, right?
or my first name. But basically, you get it's so. What they mean is, if you are graphing the cardiac risk, the first drink lowers your risk, second drink's about flat, and then after that, your risk goes up. So more than 2 to 3 glasses of red wine actually increases your cardiac risk.
What am I really doing drinking every day? What am I doing with my life? I have fungus and I'm an alcoholic. I'm an alcoholic fungus.
You're a favorite patient.
I think for the people that listen to episode 2, where we talked a lot about stress, and you have a high stress job. You're running multiple businesses, multiple people constantly probably, wanting answers, wanting things turned around. And that's, we were talking about ways that we all relax, the different ways we relax. And so I think for you right now, it's been running and alcohol.
Yes. Both are bad for me. One causes fungus, one's destroying my liver.
Which do you enjoy more?
What?
Which do you enjoy more, running or alcohol?
I think I enjoy alcohol because it's instant.
Yeah.
Right?
Instant gratification.
But I feel better after I run.
Longer.
Yeah,
that's great.
The problem is I love a drink after running. That's my ideal.
Is that your preferred time of
Like,
drinking?
I'm going to run my half marathon at 7 a.m. on July 4th.
Yeah.
So this will come 2 days after that. And I'm going to have a bottle of tequila waiting for me at the end of it.
Wow.
That's my treat.
America.
Well, those are the 2 medical questions I have for today. So we'll talk about what the alcohol effects on my body are the next time I'm on.
Perfect.
So no beauty tips that you need.
I mean,
handsome. So handsome.
Let's figure out the fungus first. I mean, I got to get beyond fungus. No one's going to touch me now because I have fungus.
I think so. This is the final prescription, modern prescription for you is take off the necklace when you run. And I know a lot of runners like to wear necklaces because it keeps their rhythm.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you fall into that.
No, I like it because Michael Johnson used to wear it in the Olympics.
But that's the rhythm. Each step it's shaking back and forth.
Okay.
But I think if all you did was take off the necklace, it would probably get slightly better. But if you also treat it with antifungals and just stop wearing the necklace, it'll probably go away.
And I'm sure antifungals are available on Amazon. It's embarrassing to go buy fungal medicine at CVS. I walk in, I'm like, this guy has fungus.
You can always ask the pharmacist. Put it in a brown paper bag for you.
I know, but it's just embarrassing picking up. It was like, when you were like 17.
Well, that's why you have an assistant.
Pete, go get me fungal medicine.
Well, condoms, the new mask is a condom.
Yeah, exactly.
Masking.
That's what we've been saying on the podcast. If you're not going to wear a mask, I don't want you to wear a condom either.
Not a great.
No seatbelt, no mask, no condoms.
Yeah, not great advice, but I understand the point.
I think the same people who aren't wearing masks are the people who are not wearing condoms.
And propagating more of their species.
Well, thanks for joining us.
All right, thanks for having me, guys.
Such a pleasure. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 3. We're super excited. Some great topics today. And definitely come back next week.
Next week, we have a very big guest.
Very big guest. Awesome episode. And we're super excited.
So we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in.